Good day everyone. Today I'll be discussing about the theory of Agamemnon. Agamemnon is the king of Argos, or also called as Mycenae. He is also a leader of the Greek army of Troy. So today I'll just be summarizing the story of Agamemnon. The story begins in Argos where a watchman waits on a palace roof. He has been waiting for years for the signal fire that will show that the Greeks have finally won the Trojan War. So one night, the fire blazes across the hills, and he hurries to tell Queen Clytemnestra as a wife of King Agamemnon. So the chorus of elders entered and tells the audience how the war was started, and Paris stole Helen, which is a wife of Menelaus, and Menelaus is the Agamemnon's brother. So they also remind us of the terrible deed before sailing to Troy, wherein Agamemnon killed his own daughter, named Iphigenia, as a sacrifice to the goddess Artemis, so that Greek fleet could have good winds. So this act caused deep angers in Clytemnestra. So Clytemnestra appears celebrating the victory. She explains how the news traveled quickly from Troy to Argos. So, through a chain of signal fires, at first the elders doubt her, but she convinces them. Soon, a herald arrives, confirming that Troy has been destroyed. So he also tells them that many Greeks' ships were lost in the storm on the way home. And Menelaus is missing. So Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, has been away fighting in Trojan War for 10 years. And, and finally, Agamemnon arrives in triumph, riding a chariot with Cassandra. So Cassandra is a Trojan princess and prophetess whom he has taken as his slave. So Clytemnestra greets him with a warm smile, but secretly plans to kill him. She persuades him to walk on a purple carpet in the palace. So even though he was first refuses, thinking it shows too much pride for the gods. And then, on the other hand, Cassandra is left outside. She's, suddenly has vision and begins to cry out about the murders that will soon happen inside. So there she can foresee or she can see her own death and Agamemnon's death. And she also talks about the curse that has haunted Agamemnon's family for generations. So Cassandra has a vision of prophecy, and the elders don't believe her, but she bravely accepts her fate and enters the palace. So soon, Agamemnon's screams are heard, and elders are shocked but do nothing. Like they cannot do anything to save their king. So the doors of the palace open, and Clytemnestra appears covered in blood, standing over the bodies of Agamemnon and Cassandra. She proudly admits that she killed her husband to take revenge for the sacrifice of their daughter Iphigenia. So then, on the other hand, Augustus, which is Clytemnestra's lover and Agamemnon's cousin, enters. She also claims revenge, like they also take revenge. Because Agamemnon's father once committed terrible crimes against his family, which is the family of Augustus. So now he and Clytemnestra plan to rule Argos together. So the chorus of elders is horrified. They warn that this cycle of murder and revenge will not stop there. So since someone will rise and has the plan to punish Clytemnestra and Augustus. So the play ends with Argus is still trapped under the curse of blood and vengeance by declaring that Orestes, Agamemnon's son, will one day return to take avenge his father. With that, he killed his own mother. So next we'll be proceeding to the author of the play. So the author of the play is Achilles. Achilles was an ancient playwright, often called the father of tragedy. He lived around 525 BCE to 456 BCE and was the earliest of the three great tragedians of classical Athens, followed by Sophocles and Euripides. So, and most of his themes are often deal with justice, divine will, fate, human pride, and the consequence of violence. So, he also explored how individuals and families suffer due to the crimes like murder, revenge, and betrayal. So, after that, we'll proceed to the characters. So, the characters begin with Queen Clytemnestra. Queen Clytemnestra is a wife of Agamemnon and a queen of Argos. He is described as clever, strong-willed, and vengeful, I rather. He is also angry at Agamemnon for sacrificing their daughter. And upon arriving there in their kingdom, she pretends to welcome him home, but secretly plots his murder. With her lover Augustus, she kills Agamemnon, and Cassandra to seize power. Next character is Cassandra. Cassandra is the daughter of King Priam of Troy, taken as slave and concubine by Agamemnon after Troy's fall. So, given the gift of prophecy given by Apollo, but cursed. She has given the prophecy by Apollo, but later on he was cursed so that no one believes her visions. And by the way, Apollo is the goddess of prophecy. So, she also forces her own death and Agamemnon's murder, like what had happened in the story or in the play. So, the tragic character who accepts her fate with courage. Next is Augustus. Augustus is Clytemnestra's lover and cousin of Agamemnon. Like his family was wronged by Agamemnon's father, which is Atreus. The name of his father is Atreus, so he seeks revenge. And later on joins Clytemnestra in ruling Argos after Agamemnon's death. So unlike Clytemnestra, he is less brave and also seen as manipulative and cowardly. And lastly is the chorus. So the chorus are known as the wise old men of the city who act as commentators on the play's victims. So they recall the past about the Helen's abduction, Iphigenia's sacrifice, and the Trojan War. So they also express fear, doubt, and moral questions about justice, revenge, and fate. So at the end, they warn that the cycle of bloodshed will continue. So next is the setting. So the play usually or actually takes place in Argos and Greece, especially in front of the royal palace of Agamemnon. And actually, the theme of the story focuses on revenge and justice. First is revenge and justice. In the play, revenge is passed on like a curse. Agamemnon sacrifices his daughter Iphigenia to win the war, which fills Clytemnestra with hatred. When he returns, she kills him to avenge Iphigenia. So, afterwards, Augustus joins her, motivated by his own family's past wrongs against Agamemnon's father, which each character believes their act is justice, but it is really revenge, which only causes more violence and suffering. The second theme of the story is fate and the gods. So, this story shows that no one can escape destiny. So, even the house of Atreus, which is the Agamemnon's family, is cursed because of past sins. Cassandra, the Trojan princess, sees vision of what will happen. However, especially in Agamemnon's death, her own murder also, and the coming of an avenge of his Agamemnon's son named Orestes. So, even though she knows she cannot stop it, yes, literal that he has no power on fate and the gods. So, this proves that the gods and the fate decides the future and the humans are powerless against it. The third one is the pride and power. So Agamemnon shows pride when he agrees to walk on the purple carpets, which is a sign of arrogance that insults the gods. Meanwhile, Clytemnestra takes over an unusual way for a woman in Greek society. So, by plotting and carrying out the murder of her husband, which is like afterwards he has the plan and he also like dream of hunger, like her hunger for control and dominance leads to bloodshed and turmoil in the kingdom. So both pride and the desire for power bring destruction in the play or in the story of Agamemnon. And the moral of the story, or shall we say the lesson, is first, actually there are three that I found the values that it can be found in the story is revenge creates more violence. So, as you can see in the story, Agamemnon sacrifices his daughter Iphigenia for the war. This makes Clytemnestra born with anger. So, when he comes home, she murders him. Like it's the revenge. Augustus also seeks revenge for the crimes Agamemnon's father committed against his family. Like, as you can see, the bloodshed is just in their cycle. So, each act of revenge leads to another, showing that personal anger only fuels more bloodshed instead of bringing through justice. And usually for them it's justice, but as you can see, that's not really justice, it's revenge. Next is pride leads to downfall. That is the second moral of the story. So which is pride leads to downfall. So Agamemnon shows arrogance when he agrees to walk on the purple carpets, which is an act that symbolizes excessive pride before the gods. So this decision reflects his hubris or hubris, which contributes to the tragic end. Hubris is excessive pride of the person. So Clytemnestra, on the other hand, is also proud and power hungry, like gutom sa kapangyarihan, like believing she can rule over killing her husband. Their prideful action both leads to destruction and tragedy instead of glory or peace. Like all their desires only bring distractions to themselves and to their kingdom at the same time to their people. So next one is the betrayal destroys families and society. So as you can see in the Agamemnon story, Agamemnon betrays his role as a father by sacrificing his own daughter. That's why Clytemnestra betrays her husband by pretending to love him while secretly plotting his death. So she also betrays the kingdom by taking power with her lover Augustus. So these acts of broken trust tear apart their family and bring chaos to the whole kingdom, showing how betrayal damages not just individuals but the entire society as a whole. So the story ends there, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you.